Well, hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, and we are back in Towers of Aghasba, and well, we have got one very important mission to do, and that is to head to the north to go meet with Winguri over there, which is the sky god. So then we have met with all three of the four that we can meet with, and then we will be able to take Midhaven over here and level it up to tier 2. So as you can see here, this is the last thing we need to go and do. Now, of course, most likely Winguri is actually in a withered environment, so we will go to that portal over there, and maybe we'll find somewhere around here the shrine we need to restore in order for us to remove the withered from that area. So let's head to the north and see whether we can find that portal. Now, it most likely will be up on that hill over there, which means we are going to have to climb the terraces that we see over here. So these then being the terraces we saw previously, and yeah, you can see here, these were most likely farms. You can see here large boulders put down here, and then some nice soil you could cultivate a few crops in over here. That's a withered person, isn't it? I think that is a withered soldier. Yeah, that is definitely so. Can we not do anything to him? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay, in that case, no, run, Will, run. It looks like we would only be able to damage him in a different way. Most likely with that withered bomb. We need to make withered bombs. Interesting, I thought we'd be able to damage him with our bow, but apparently not. Alright, so let's head to the north, shall we? As quickly as we can. Lots of withered razzies, withered razliths, withered snags, withered everything in this area. We are just going to run. That is going to be our basic strategy now. Right, there is a chest over here. We've got vase set number 2. Great stuff. Now, we need a nice little plant to actually survive again. Oh, there's another soldier over here. And I'm going to start running out of time in the wither, so no. As fun as this was, I'm going to die now. Unless... yeah, there we go, okay. So the withered snag got me before I could get to that plant. Okay. So what have I learned? Will needs to prepare a little bit more before heading in that area. So what we need would be potions in order to stay in the withered area for longer. So let's get to this alchemy station over here. Let's see, what do we need? We need mushroom caps and some withered tar. That's about it. Okay, we can do that. We can definitely do that. So let's quickly travel back to Amani Island. And let's quickly harvest some wood and also some fungi, like the bushroom over here. Now, the bushroom is also a very interesting fungus. Now, previously we did see that fungus, this one over here, the siphy, that grows, and as the stalk grows, the stipe actually, as the stipe of the fungus grows, it produces these gilled discs that will be dispersing the spores. Now, on Earth, we don't have any, as far as I know, we don't have any fungi that grow like this, with an elongating stipe, and then the fungal heads forming like that. Now, this one, this bushroom over here, also grows strangely. It forms this big central stipe over there, and then from it, it buds other little mushrooms, other little fungal fruiting bodies. Now, it is interesting to note that, first of all, fungi are closer to animals than they are to plants. So even though we eat them like vegetables and stuff, in their cells they contain chitin, which is found in insects. So fungi are closer to animals than they are to plants, which is very strange to think. And secondly, when we eat mushrooms, for example, we are only eating the fruiting body of that fungus. The majority of this fungus would be in the soil or in dead organic matter like branches that are lying on the ground or logs lying on the ground. And the fungus has these thin little threads, the hyphal threads, or the hyphae, or also called the fungal mycelium, that goes through the soil or through that dead organic matter, and it is actively breaking it down. And when, for example, it is going to be nice and rainy, when it's nice and moist, when thunderstorms are approaching, for example, the fungal hyphae will clump together and form these special structures, these fruiting bodies that we can see here. It's basically 90% water, which is why if you take mushrooms, for example, and you dehydrate them, you lose about 90% of the weight of those mushrooms because, well, 90% of it is water that evaporates as you dry it. Alright, let's continue though. Let's harvest some more bushroom and let's see what other fungi we can get. Now this over here is a more typical mushroom body that we can see over here. Let's just crouch a little bit closer. So it would have a central stipe over there, a central stem, and then it flattens out as a nice little umbrella, basically. And under there would most likely be either pores or gills from which the spores would be released. Now we're just going to harvest it because, you know, we do need that mushroom cap over there. And now we should be able to make a few of those withered potions. There we go, the simple withered antidote. We're going to craft 20 of those. But of course it is now nighttime, so let's just quickly turn it to daytime and then we'll try this once more. You will also see we have got a few chests here. So slowly but surely I am moving our inventory over to here. Let's just consume this vase recipe. So we can craft some nice vases there. And I must also remember what I want to do today is head down to the beach once more to see if we can perhaps, just perhaps, get cactus. The thing is, I know how forgetful I am, so let's do this now, shall we? I have a serious problem with focusing sometimes, so let's head on over to the south, to the beach, where it's a nice desert-like environment, and cacti in this case would grow very well. Now, there are very few species that will grow right on the beach. There are some, and all of them are adapted to these horrible conditions, because technically not only are they living in a technical desert with very little water due to the sand not holding water for long and water actually filtering through the soil very quickly, draining through it very quickly, they also are blasted with a salt spray, and very few plants can actually handle that. If you've ever tried to grow a garden by the ocean, you know how difficult that is. So these cacti that we are trying to look for now, at least, are very, very specialized, growing in this desert-like coastal environment. Now, very often, most vegetation, if you're looking close to the ocean, most vegetation would be behind the first dune. So where they... Oh, there we go. There is another... That's a cresty, isn't it? I think that's a cresty. Yeah, that is a cresty. You can see the head crest that it had there. The head adornment. Now, most plants, as I was trying to say, would be behind the first dune because the salt spray of the ocean will hit the first dune, and then behind the dune there would be less salt spray. So that is where I would expect most vegetation. If I remember correctly, there we go, there is a cactus right over here. Please, just please give me some... There we go, we got a cactus. Ah, yes. Ah, success. Success. So we'll finally be able to go to this colossal tree, this tropical colossal tree, and fulfill that build order over there, those 3 cacti we needed. So you know what? Let's go do that first, because again, I may forget to do that later. So let's grab the cacti that we have got stored here, and let's head on over to our tropical ecosystem, which should be amongst those spires over there. Should be right around the corner here. Yes, indeed. I want to see what animals we get and what plants we can get from this tropical ecosystem once it has been leveled up. Now, before we actually do that though, I did notice that there's a growth bud and we can deposit 100 amity in this plant over here. I don't know what this plant is, but we'll see in a moment. There we go. It is blooming now. What are you? A bleeding heart. Oh, okay. So in about half an hour's time, I'll be able to deposit some more amity. Okay, good to know. Now, before we actually level up this colossal tree, you can see here we do have quite a lot of palms growing here. We've got a tallish shrubland / shortish forest. It's more a sparse forest at the moment. I'm hoping that as we level this up, it will actually get a little bit denser and perhaps a little bit taller, this ecosystem. But we'll see in a moment. So where's the sprite? Spritey, hello there. Now, we've already given the dung, we've already given the amity, we just need to give the cactus. And now, I believe, Shimu Shima, we're going to get nice tree.
Shimu Shima!
And ta-da-ta-ta-tan, colossal tree grows even more. Unfortunately, most of our view blocked by the spires, so we can't see the magnificent tree growing. Alright, that has also increased our max health, which is marvelous. Speaking of which, I did damage myself as I harvested those cacti there, so I may as well eat a bit of meat. Restore my health. Now, there may be some new interesting animals to see, if I'm not mistaken. Usually when we upgrade, new animals move in. But thus far it is just the usual suspects. But there will most likely now be more animals actually in this area. Now, just something interesting to note though, and I keep on forgetting to talk about that. But with, for example, the Lugora over here versus the very similar Juvor we have in the Mediterranean area, or looking at the Spikaroo we have in the Mediterranean area versus that little one over there, the Cloaroo that we have, this green one over here, in the tropical ecosystem. You will have very similar creatures. I find it fascinating though, because what you have is geographic isolation. This region over here has been for a long enough period isolated from this area over here. And as a result, the creatures over there, maybe in the past, they were species that occurred both here and here. But due to being isolated, the genetics in this area that this population started with were slightly different than the genetics that this population in this area started with. And as a result, over time, this species, for example, became the Cloaroo, whereas the species on Amani Island became the Spikaroo, or we had the Juvor developing over here, evolving over here, versus the Lugoras in this tropical ecosystem to the north here. So geographic isolation here, due to the different genetics in the founder populations. Hello, bouncy insect on top of my head. You want me? Oh, you are bouncing on me. Okay, I thought you wanted to be somewhere else, but that's cool. That insect wanted to alight upon me. But yeah, we've got geographic isolation, and because you've got similar niches in this ecosystem versus the Mediterranean ecosystem, we will have similar roles that can be fulfilled by organisms, and the animals will develop certain traits to fulfill those ecological niches. So the Lugoras over here probably functioning very similar to the Juvor in the Mediterranean ecosystem, and the Cloaroos here functioning very similar to the Spikaroos in the Mediterranean ecosystem. But due to different genetics that they started with, they ended up looking very, very differently, and also slightly different adaptations needed to survive over here. As I mentioned before, the Lugoras here do not have the big adornments that the Juvor have. Because it's a denser environment here, they need to be able to move amongst the dense trees, and big head adornments, it's not a good adaptation to survive in a dense jungle. So now, we do need to go and do that which I dread. Oh, this is a new plant. This is a pink bud. We haven't encountered this before. Oh, we need iron shovel. Yeah, a lot of the new plants here we need, I guess, iron shovel for. Nectar bulb. Oh, this we can harvest. Oh, this also gives us nectar. Similar to the akogo blossoms we saw previously, the nectar bulb also gives us nectar. Okay, so we've got 2 sources of nectar at least now as well. Now, we need to go meet Winguri. Now, what we can, of course, do is actually try to run up the proper way instead of climbing as I did. Because looking at this, okay, so let's have a look here. Over there, we've got one of those trees, and around there, most likely, there would be some of those plants that restore the wither timer. We also have that up there, and up there. So I'm guessing over there is where we actually need to be. That most likely is where Winguri is, or at least that's where the portal is. If I'm looking on the map here, yeah, that most likely is where the portal will be. So, I suspect we need to actually come from that side. We most likely need to come along here. That may be the best route, instead of actually going via the terraces. Thankfully, we do have some antidotes, so if need be, we can drink that. Okay, so here we go. There are most likely going to be some withered Razliths around. We're just going to climb up, and hopefully away from the shooting Razliths and anything else we encounter. Then we get to the top here. We're going to drink a potion. Oh wait, never mind, there are some plants over there that can restore our timer. We're going to keep the potions for when we need it. We don't need it, we're not going to use it. We need to get to the top here. Most likely are going to be a bit more withered creatures around here. Yeah, I can see a withered snag over there. Not keen on taking them on. In this area, this is most likely where we have... Yeah, there we go, the Zamku shrine. Just going to drink that antidote. Yeah, that did restore quite a bit of our timer. Okay, so this is the shrine. And this here is the portal. And this is the important one. We do... Oh, we've got a bit of danger here. Quite a bit of danger, actually. With its snags. Okay, anything else that wants to take us on? we've got a withered Razlith, and we've got snags. A withered snag. Okay. Now I'm not sure how dangerous those withered snags are. I'm guessing quite. Okay, so let's, while they are away though, let's check what do we need in order to restore. Wood plank, limestone, tree bark, and gold nugget. That is very, very doable. Very doable. Okay, we luckily have 3 wood plank ready already. Ready already. We can also, of course, grab our gold dust again and trade that in for a nice gold nugget once more. And there we go. Ah, full order is completable. So now we do have everything we need, but we need to get the tree bark and the limestone from Omani Island. Haven't moved everything over yet, unfortunately, into the chests. I will do that off screen at some point. Okay, I've grabbed the limestone. Now it's the tree bark. And now we are ready. Let us... Oh yeah, we don't even have to run there. We can just teleport there. This is lovely. And then let us just go restore this. Then we don't have to worry about anything in this area. No withered left in this area after this. The restoration is being done. Ah, so we're getting a nice bunch of new recipes. Zamku Monument, the Iron Spear, Zamku Monument 2, Zamku Tiles, a whole bunch of Zamku themed. Ah, you see. I guess this is the second last area that had Withered in it. And this is going to be the final area. Oh, that's probably quite a challenging area to go into. What have we got here? Shadow Moss Tree again. We can harvest that with a normal old axe. Don't remember what we get from this. Wood and... oh, lichen. Ooh, lichen is awesome. Lichen is, like, to me, super awesome. I very much be liking them. What they are is, in fact, a fungus which provides the body of the lichen, but in a symbiotic and a mutualistic symbiotic relationship with either cyanobacteria, which are called blue-green algae, but they're basically bacteria that can photosynthesize, or it's in a symbiotic relationship with algae that can photosynthesize. So the fungus provides the structure of the lichen, and the algae provides food to the fungus. So really, really very, very cool. Now we have got another chest over here that we can also access, which gives us a chopping block. Ooh, let's grab that. It's probably a decoration. A chopping block does look like a decoration we can also then place. Now, to the north. To the north is where we need to go. Somewhere up on a rise. I'm guessing somewhere to the north, most likely on top of that hill, we'll find Winguri. And it looks like we'll need to travel from the right-hand side there up. Let's go do that, shall we? We most likely will encounter some new creatures. Oh, this also looks like another Jubanga graveyard. There probably will be another enchanted poo around here somewhere. Enchanted dung.
A few moments later.
I haven't been able to find it. I thought maybe it is over here. But what have we got, in fact, on top here? Amber chunk. Oh, of course we need the iron hatchet for that. So we've got amber on the skeleton of the Jubanga over here. Also, I believe, one over there. And one over there. Okay, so we can farm amber chunks on here. Now, I do find it very interesting that there is amber here, because amber is fossilized tree sap. And this is the skeleton of an animal. And I don't think this skeleton was here for long enough for amber to actually have fossilized. So it's not just resin, it's not just tree sap, it's actual fossilized tree sap. That's what we are looking at here with the amber. So I'm wondering, the weapons that the Shimu used to hunt the Jubanga, did it contain amber? Maybe they used amber as some kind of like arrowheads that they then fired at the Jubanga? I don't know, maybe that is what they used. Interesting that there is amber in the game. I love amber. Like, wow, amber is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. For example, when I saw amber the first time in Enshrouded, I was also super excited about that. And amber is in fact also where electricity gets its name from, believe it or not, where the name or the term electricity comes from. Because amber, if you rub that in a cloth, it produces static electricity. And it is that where electron and electricity gets its name from. As far as I recall, I think the Greek word for amber was electron or electrum maybe. Something along those lines. Does look like there was a settlement over here as well. Maybe just like a little town they had here, I guess. Huh. Looks like an aqueduct also ran along there. Either that, or some kind of conveyor belt to take ore from one point to another. Interesting, interesting. Oh, we need to go far to the west. Oh, we are in the Moyo Vale. Okay, no, we're not going to the Moyo Vale. Yeah, we again headed in the wrong direction. There's also a tower, a withered tower over here, with most likely with soldiers and so around. Not going to have a look at them now. I found something here. What is this? Looks like some giant bones in here. Oh, shackles. Big shackles. Something big was chained here. Huh. Well now. Oh, there we go. We've got something to read up here. Most likely a relic. What have we got? Lutoro tribe giants barracks. Looks like enormous creatures were kept here. Seems like this tribe kept them in chains and gave them no room to walk around. Ah. Alright, so the slavery of the giants we found as well. I believe we also found on Amani Island, we found the barracks over here somewhere, and I don't think they were actually chained down. And unless I'm very much mistaken, we just need to be right up here to meet Winguri. Aha, there we go. But there are some withered creatures around here, and they appear to have trapped Winguri. That's not nice. So let's just clear this core over here. Oh, so close, so close. And then unfortunately they respawn. Now where is this one that keeps on shooting? There we go, there it is. Okay. Now stop respawning, please. Just for a bit. Okay, looks like yes. Yes. Now it looks like Winguri over here is still trapped to some extent, and I think it is still spawning withered Razzies. But maybe if we talk to Winguri here. There we go, that's... Yes. Ah. That's much better. How dreary it was for all my gloriously gleaming feathers to be trapped under all that witheredness. I see you are stunned. You must have an eye for beauty. I am Winguri, goddess of these beautiful skies. Every scintillating sunset you see, every wonderful wisp of cumulonimbus, all my doing. How lucky you were to come across and rescue me, little human. For without my freedom, there would be no beauty in the sky ever again. Does that tiresome sea urchin Apsu bring you anything like this? Or that incapacitated fool Huldra? Yeah, you see, so the three of them don't like one another at all. My largest regards again, tiny human, for freeing me from that mess. I do want to know how she got trapped, though. I saw the withered encroaching on the Jubanga altar here. One of the most beautiful things you humans managed to create, I must say. I swooped down to protect it, only to become swarmed by those foul things. Quite naive of me, yes, but I cannot help but protect true beauty in any of its forms when it becomes known to me. Any further question? Just about the Jubanga, please. How those pulchritudinous soaring creatures once populated my skies. What beauty they contributed. Behind me is Jubanga altar you humans built those eons ago. One of your most elegant constructions. I was somewhat envious of the love you had for the Jubanga, though I could not find fault with it, as I felt the same. Even if there were any left living on Aghasba, they would not take to the skies, as they only do so in times of environmental flourish. Any other questions? That is it for me. Then I'm off to the Sky Temple, where I shall spend some time recovering mentally and spiritually from this harrowing, ugly ordeal. A most shining day upon you, tiny human. And there she goes. And then this, of course, being, I believe, the Jubanga Temple. So, mentioned there that the Jubanga only took the skies during environmental flourish, so when the environment was doing very well. In other words, they are currently perhaps hibernating, or perhaps more in a state of torpor. Torpor generally being more short-term. They slow down their heart rate, they basically go into a state of waiting for conditions to improve. So maybe it is that. We'll have to see. So they are most likely hiding somewhere in this far northern region. But unless I'm very much mistaken, yeah, there we go. We can increase Midhaven Tower to tier 2. Hey, you naughty one. Why are you still spawning here? getting distracted by the map and then being attacked by the withered Brazzies. Ah, we did find some crystal here as well. However, we need the iron pickaxe to actually harvest it. We do have an iron pickaxe at home. And with that, of course, we can make the withered bombs. I see there are more crystal deposits here. So this is very nice. Very, very nice. We've got at least two crystal deposits over here. A third one on that side. This is great. When I need to get crystal, this is where I will be getting it. Ah, and there is a little chest here as well. What have we got? A standard tent. Don't know whether that is different from the normal tent. Probably a little bit different. Okay, so now it's, I guess, back to Midhaven. Let's upgrade Midhaven to tier 2, shall we? Now, Winguri there looked very much like a griffin, with the body of a lion and the head of an eagle. And that is very, very cool. Now, the idea of the griffin most likely came from certain fossils that were found. Fossils most likely of some of the early ceratopsians. You know, those frilled dinosaurs, things like triceratops and so, but not... Oh, there's a rough draw over here as well. Not triceratops per se, because griffins don't have, at least in mythology, they don't have horns like the triceratops, but instead, most likely would have come from something like protoceratops, or maybe something like Psittacosaurus. Those ones most likely inspired the whole idea of the griffin. And we'll talk about that again, I believe, a little bit later at some point. But for me at least, very cool to think that, you know, fossils like that most likely inspired the amazing mythological creature, the griffin. Alright, let's now actually upgrade Midhaven to tier 2. Can you believe it? Here we are. We have done everything. Let us upgrade it. Oh, now we need to put in some extra stuff. Of course. Okay, so we can't upgrade it yet. We need to put in cob, limestone, gold nuggets. Okay, we can turn in the wood planks. We can turn in the limestone. Now we need 1 cob. That we can get from the farming village. And we need 3 gold nuggets. What is the exchange rate again? 5 gold dust per gold nugget. Or, 100 scrap per gold nugget. Okay, so we're going to bring scrap to then get 3 gold nuggets. And we're going to quickly go make some cob. Alright, there we go. We can make a nice cob. Just 1. Oh, goodness, that will take 15 minutes. So you know what? We are not going to wait for that. We're going to continue with that next time. We're going to grab the cob, and then we are going to do that. But before I do forget, let me just grab my 300 scrap over here and go and quickly exchange that for gold nuggets. There we go. 3 gold nuggets, please. And then all we need would be that 1 cob that we will get next time. So thank you very much everyone for joining me on my little adventure here. Hope you enjoyed it. It has been a lot of fun running around, dying for the first time. I think that's the first or possibly second death that I've had in the game thus far. So thank you for joining me for that, and hope you enjoyed it. I had a lovely time here in Aghasba. And of course on Friday I'll be back with another episode of Monster Hunter World, where I will be hunting the great Jagras. And of course, if you've got any questions, whether it be about nature or anything we encountered in the game, please drop it down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. Thank you once again for coming along, everyone. Hope you have a lovely week. I will see you all soon. Cheers!